The 150th British Open kicks off today at the historic Old Course in St Andrews, Scotland, where golf began. Former winners Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson are both set to play. It's their first time sharing a golf course in more than a year. CBS News special correspondent James Brown recently spoke with author Bob Harig about golf's most fascinating rivalry.
They were the two guys above everybody else for more than 20 years. At times, they didn't really like each other. They had their little moments of tension. I think that's what makes for a rivalry. You can point out Tiger's record is so much better, which is true, but Phil's is better than anybody else's. Phil's almost 5 years older than Tiger. Even though they grew up in Southern California, their paths wouldn't have crossed then. When they became pros, Phil was already established. Tiger was trying to get where Phil was, and then he got there and passed him.
The name Butch Harmon, who is he and why is he important in this story?
Butch is a legendary golf coach, been around the game for 50 plus years. His dad was a club pro who won the Masters. Butch has coached a lot of guys. He coached Greg Norman when he was #1, coached Tiger when he was younger, and then he coached Phil when he was older. He started with Tiger when he was 16, and he was with Tiger all the way through 2002. Tiger had won 8 majors to that point. And then in 2007, Phil hired Butch. And immediately he won the Players' Championship. And then he won the Masters in 2010, and he won the Open in 2013. So Butch had great runs with both these guys and has some pretty good stories about both of them, too.
For the novice, and that includes me, put a face on what is this LIV tour? How competitive a threat is it? Give me your insider's look at this.
There's a lot of controversy over it. It's funded by the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, the Public Investment Fund. They've got a tennis tournament. They have a big golf tournament in Saudi already. They have horse racing. The chairman of the PIF has a big role in a Premier League soccer team, Newcastle United. So they've kind of spread their wings into sports. Obviously, there's issues with that for numerous reasons that I'm sure people are aware of. But really, the root of it is golfers don't get any guaranteed compensation for what they do on the course. And so what these rival entities, now Live Golf, have offered is guaranteed money. The reported number for Phil is $200 million over 4 years, $50 million a year. Dustin Johnson was believed to be north of 150. Same with Bryson DeChambeau. Koepka's over 100. You've got some lower level guys probably getting $40 million for 4 years. Pat Perez signed on for 4 years. He's only won 3 times in his career. He said it himself. It's like I won the lottery. And then huge purses in these tournaments where there's minimums. There's no cut. So you get paid even if you finish last. $4 million to the winner. This is more than mostly double what's common. Then the upfront money, which there is none in golf.
Jay Monahan, the commissioner of the PGA, said that if this is an arms race and if the only weapons here are dollar bills, the PGA Tour cannot compete. Is this a fait accompli that Liv is going to usurp the PGA Tour?
One of the things the Tour did last year was to try to combat this, was put in place this thing called the Player Impact Program. It's $40 million set aside to pay to the guys who move the needle the most. And it was based on all kinds of metrics, Google searches, Twitter. Tiger didn't play one event in 2021. You won $8 million. That's how valuable Tiger has been. I'm not sure that program served its purpose because 4 of the 8 guys who got to cash in have moved on to the Live Tour. And that's where we are. And now Live is off the ground. And yeah, it's a threat. They've taken away some pretty big names. And if you're about those big dollars, they're going to probably lure a few more people over there. Tiger has said, my legacy is on the PGA Tour. It's where I've made my career. I'm staying here.
Why did Phil Mickelson join?
People have a problem with it, say, why would you risk your legacy? He won the PGA last year at age 50. He became the oldest major champion. You could compare it to Tiger's 2019 Masters for how impressive and how unlikely it was. That's a win that he could have rode off into the sunset with. If he wasn't considered a top 10 player all time, that pushed him over the line. And yet, he decided to go down this road. Clearly, he did it for the money. I could add a couple of chapters to my book, frankly. This is a divergence in Phil's career that I don't think anybody saw coming.